But I did have a question. I was kind of hoping Jeff would be on here for this one because I was
Yeah.
thinking about it the other day, and maybe it would have been a better question a couple of weeks ago when it was going on. Um, but what do you think about like playing tournaments to get into playoffs? Because I know the NBA has that, and they had it for their playoffs and everything. I know the NHL at least has talked about the potential of implementing a similar kind of thing. I don't think NFL, MLB. I think they want to expand their playoffs, but they don't want to do the play in. In the NFL, I don't think the play in would actually work because it's a week by week season.
Yeah. A play-in tournament. I say no.
Mm-hmm.
Because I go off of. I know there's so many perspectives about that, but to
Like I get it league wise and
after
the
being
money and everything, you get a little
yeah,
more attention
I,
towards the end of your season and everything. But
I get the revenue aspect. I completely get that from the franchises, but you got ticket sales, you got jersey sales, you got all that stuff, right? But like in my opinion, after being an athlete for a while, if you're not good enough, you're not good enough. That's just what
yeah,
it
no,
is.
yeah,
Like I've been on both sides of being good enough to be in playoffs and not being good enough. And my thought process is there's just it's either it's top four. If your five sucks, you're not good. You didn't make top four. You're not good
yeah,
enough.
yeah. Sorry, you just didn't make it.
It's just what it is. Like it's like you just aren't good enough, which is kind of brings in the aspect of like expanding the playoffs.
Yeah, because I know the NFL this past season added a third wild card
Added
team,
added
which
a third
benefited the
wildcard
Eagles
team.
because they got into the playoffs, but
Yeah,
they got destroyed by the Bucks,
yeah. Well, and then like the college is looking at possibly
expanding theirs
expanding
too.
theirs, and I'm like, you're gonna go. Some of these teams, you're just gonna go down to the same ones over and over and over.
Yeah.
And the NFL is a little bit different because you have
Mm-hmm.
the draft. You have to play within certain parameters.
Right.
But once it hits the playoffs, it's like
Mm-hmm.
that's just my opinion. I believe no play in. It's either you're good enough or you're not.
Yeah, I'm the same way because I don't want it because my thought on it is always because it's always going to be between the like seven, like seven. If you're playing your league has 8 teams that makes to the
Yeah.
playoffs, that means your 7 to 10th teams in your each conference all have a chance. And to me, I don't think
Mm-hmm.
that 10th place team really has a reason to be in the playoffs, especially if they're under 500, which in the NBA, the Spurs were under 500. They were barely under 500, but they're under 500, and they were had a potential. They lost, but they had a potential of actually getting in. Did they deserve it? Probably not.
Mm-hmm. Probably not.
But to me, I feel like it also when you have at least 20 of your teams potentially getting in, I feel like there's a little much to have that potential of getting into the playoffs. So to me, I'm kind of the same way as you. Of just if you're not good enough, you're not good enough. I don't think there should be a second chance kind of thing of you potentially getting into the playoffs.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I think too. It's like
It's like if
it kind of it is what it is kind of thing. Like
yeah, I understand
sucks.
why those leagues want to do that and why
Yeah,
college football wants to do it too, just to a little more um, revenue and everything, and it'll
yeah, because
bring.
they want to give the
It
other teams
also
chances. But I'm like, bro,
it'll also have some of these bowl games mean a little more too.
yeah, but in the end, like
With college football wise, it's always going to end up somehow being the same few teams anyway. So
it's gonna be the same top four teams every single time.
yeah,
And it's like, well, maybe not top four, and that top 10, and that top like six, I should say, which is they add the fours, and then they do the two or three that didn't make it in.
yeah,
Those top 6 or 7, majority of the time, it's gonna be the same teams,
yeah,
you know. And Cincy was great. I loved seeing Cincy in there. I knew they were gonna get the shit kicked out of them. I mean, Bama only put up something 24 something, but they also
yeah.
ran for 300 some yards on them.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you don't have to put up 40 points if you
No,
run down the throat the entire game.
yeah. And when you're playing, when you have an already easy schedule, anyways, and you've had a couple games, and yeah, you may have been able to beat Notre Dame, which is obviously impressive. But if
Mm,
that's your only kind of in that season, I feel like okay, once you have to actually play one of these powerhouses, Georgia, Clemson, Alabama, one of them, there's a decent chance that you're actually going to see what your team actually has. And at that point, it's probably not going to be the best because Alabama, at least, is going to have the best recruits. They're going to have the best players. So,
well, I mean, look at Michigan. Michigan was a powerhouse all year and then got dropped by Georgia.
They did, yeah.
I do have a question. I wish Jeff was on this for this too, but I was thinking, I was sitting here, and I was watching Family Guy last night, and I don't know why it made me think of it, but Peter went up in a rocket, and like from like the ground, right? And I was like, if NASA came to you and said, we will give you a billion with a B as in boy, $1 billion cash, so not taxed, to go up this rocket, but you don't know if you're gonna survive or not. But NASA knows, but you don't know. You know what I'm saying? So all you have to do is trust Meg. Hey, if you make it back down to Earth, we'll give you $1 billion. So you have to go up for a day and come back down.
So for a whole 24-hour period, you have to be up there.
Yeah. But you come back down, you're a billionaire. Like they'll give you everything to survive. They're not going to. They don't send the astronauts with no food. Like they're going to give you everything. But the idea is like, what happens to the rocket? Will you maybe be able to come back down? You know.
So for me, I take it. I take it in a heartbeat. If it's $1 billion and I just 24-hour period, and NASA's already pretty much accredited in terms of, obviously they've had accidents here and there or whatever with shuttles and everything. But the chances of that, I feel like, are slim. Kind of like if you're in an airplane, that plane going down is also just a very slim possibility of that happening. So to me, I would do that in a heartbeat. Like someone actually said that to me, like if one of the billionaires who were doing the space thing or whatever said, I'll give you $1 billion if you go up there for 24-hour period, I'd be like, okay. And then I would do it in a heartbeat, because obviously that 24-hour period, like it'd be scary in the sense when you're taking off and all that, just the fear of, will this blow up, will this not?
Yeah, all the G's.
Yeah, all the G's you're never experienced before in your life. But once you're actually up there and like seeing the Earth or whatever, space and everything, you're like, I would do it for that. Yeah. Hands down, would easily do that.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like $1 billion. You could ask me to bungee jump off.
I would also say before that rocket goes off, all right, show me the money first, so I know this isn't a scam.
Yeah.
Like, show me the money, then I'll do it. It's like, okay, see ya.
Yeah, I'm out. No, like, I thought about that. I'm like, yeah, I'd 100% do it. No questions asked. Like, let's go. Say less. Yep. I'm going up in that. I'm going up to that, get that $1 billion, because that's life-changing money.
Yeah, it is.
Like, that's actually life-changing money. That's retirement money. At whatever age you're going to be, it's retirement money.
It is.
Now, would you double down $2 billion for like almost triple the time? So for 3 days, for $2 billion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm the same way. I'm like, yeah, easy down.
Yeah.
I mean, like, so you could tell me to bungee jump off the Empire State Building for $200 million or whatever. Just $200 million, not even be like $200 million. I'd do it in a heartbeat.
Bungee jump off of the Empire State Building. You're just going to do that.
Yeah, I'd just climb on it like King Kong did or whatever, and just jump off with bungee corded, like $200 million. Yeah. That's still life-changing money. That's still retirement money right there.
Yeah, easily.
Well, anything over like 10 million now, anything over like 12 million is pretty much like retirement money.
Yeah, pretty much. It depends on how you spend your money.
Depends how you
like, especially if you're saying more 10, like 12, $15 million range, you're probably going to be a little more self-conscious. That's still not a lot of money. It's still a lot of money, obviously. It's just that fact of that money, because we've seen, especially with a bunch of athletes, where they've made a bunch of money in their career and then they either invested in something dumb or they just went on a giant spending spree and they're broke now. They're like us now.
I mean, like, yeah, pretty much. I mean, like, I also think like even like probably like 5 million, 4 million is really retirement, to be honest.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
depending on depending on your lifestyle, how conservative you are, how
But
aggressive you are,
even with
maybe.
that too, I feel like because I feel like that maybe you could say throw $1 million out there. You just throw $1 million to just shit you want to buy, travel, beach houses, whatever. That still leaves you with $3 million left over that you can just kind of either sit
Yeah,
on
but if you
or
think about
just be a
all the
little more
but you think about all the recurring payments,
true.
like utilities, gas,
Right.
car, all these other things you had to continue to buy,
Mm-hmm.
continuous expenses. That's what it would be like. That's what I'd be like, do I need this? And I still probably say yes because I do that anyway.
Yeah, you did that without
Like,
the millions.
yeah, I do that without the
You dropped
$1 million. I mean,
over
yeah,
$100 at the grocery store.
that was because I went because I was hungry. It
So
was
what you're
like,
saying is don't go when you're hungry. Got it.
well, yeah, I try my best not to go to the grocery store when I'm hungry because if I do, I know I'm going to be buying something that's not necessary.